Welcome to this video on vague feedback, sponsored by the Women in IP Committee of the Intellectual Property Owners Association. My name is Andy Kramer.
And I'm Al Harris.
And we're the authors of the book, Breaking Through Bias, Communication Techniques for Women to Succeed at Work, and I'm a member of the Women in IP Committee. So let's talk about vague feedback. And first of all, why is vague feedback a problem? Well, in the context of receiving vague feedback or giving vague feedback, it tends to hurt women more than it hurts men, primarily because women tend to be the recipients of the vague feedback, where women can be given comments like, you're too aggressive, you're too assertive, you don't have a poker face, you're too this, you're too that. And the studies show that in the sorts of comments and feedback that go to men as opposed to women, men tend to get constructive feedback that they can use and apply in their careers, where the feedback that comes to women very often is addressed to their personalities and is focused on things that they can't figure out what an action plan is about it. So, Al?
What's the importance of getting specific feedback? None of us improves unless we're aware of our mistakes, we're aware of the problems in our performance. Because if we think that we're doing just fine, then we don't change. So in order to change, in order to improve, we need to be told where it is we need to improve. But if, in fact, a woman is not getting what I think about as action-oriented feedback, that is feedback that has at its core a course of action that can be followed in order to improve, then she's not able to focus her resources to perform the next time in a more effective way. So we need to find ways to make certain that the feedback that women get is action-oriented. So how does that come about? What, in fact, is a woman supposed to do? Let's look at it from the woman getting the feedback. The first thing that she can do is ask for more specific comments. That is, when she gets comments like, oh, you did just fine, or you really screwed that up, or you're too aggressive, or you're too passive, she can say things like, you know, I'd really like some examples. Could you give me some pointers as to where that happened or how it happened? Could you tell me how you think I ought to improve the next time? Give me the characteristics that you think I ought to display that would be most effective. What are the talents that I didn't have that I ought to acquire? In other words, she can participate in this process by being certain that she makes it an interactive evaluation process. Don't sit back. But she can also, if the evaluator, the person providing the feedback, has an important role here as well. What is that role? The role is to be certain that he or she, because it can be a woman just like, or a man, that he or she has in mind how he or she wants the person being evaluated to change. What is it that the evaluation is about? If it isn't about change, then you don't need much of an evaluation. You just say, you're just fine the way you are, keep doing it, and you'll do fine. Well, that's not very helpful in itself, but if in fact the evaluator will think about how in fact he or she wants that person the next time they're evaluated to have behaved, then they can focus their evaluations on those characteristics, and it will be very possible for the evaluation process not to be vague, but to be helpful. Because that's what we're after, is a helpful evaluation process, one that allows the woman to grow, to improve, to be more effective in future interactions of this sort.
And so to wrap up, what can a woman do when she's giving the feedback, in addition to what Al commented on as to what men and women can do about giving feedback that is not going to be vague? And very often women will temper the feedback that we give to other people by virtue of not wanting to appear too aggressive or assertive. And so the type of feedback that women might give to others is more ambiguous than it needs to be or should be. So that we need to lose that sense of not wanting to hurt the other person's feelings, to be accurate and clearly objective, clear communicators as to what somebody needs to do better and what they can do to improve in the next cycle. And so with that, we'd like to thank you for joining us for the vague feedback discussion. And if you find this topic of interest, there is a white paper that was prepared by the Women in IP Committee, as well as some PowerPoints. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.